I always forget that that's a lot.
Well, now I can definitely talk about Sasuke.
There's no audio in Blaseball.
Maybe they all just muted their computers. Maybe it's
Yeah.
a you problem.
Yeah, everybody turn your volume up. This is
Yeah, turn
clearly
your
someone
volume up.
else's
Maybe
problem.
it's you. Maybe it's not us.
No.
You are making noise.
We're making noise.
Okay,
We're making lots of
they
noise.
seems like they can hear us now.
I'm blown out because I need to change this here. Let's do this. That's a little better.
They can hear everyone but Bria.
Let's lower.
Well, is that really?
Wow.
How does that happen?
Wow.
I had to say it.
So rude.
Let's see.
Lindsay can hear Bria. That's all that we need. Apparently, I guess. I don't know.
Now I can go back to here. And there we go. It's weird that it would pick up the Zoom audio and not your audio.
I don't know how computers work.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say that I don't know anything. Oh my God, you sound so different because you're so close to your microphone.
Great question. We're waiting for chat.
Oh my God.
I can.
I mean, we can. This is troubleshooting inside a Blaseball.
This is why we don't have audio in Blaseball.
Yeah.
This specific problem.
This is like classic inside of Blaseball. Just
This is old
live
school.
fixing audio.
This is a big throwback. I think this is the first time.
Remember that one where Joel was like, I have to turn my speakers up really loud to make the audio work?
That was one of the wildest live streams.
That was the best one. I think that was the last one he ran it.
Yeah, it was. It gives me anxiety thinking about
it. It was very funny.
Here's the thing. It was an absolute delight, and he could no longer be allowed to do it.
Yeah. He now lives in a house, so if he did it, it would be fine.
Oh, nice. Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, his neighbors wouldn't be so.
I'm glad it would be fine if he turned up his speakers really loud and then pumped them through his microphone.
How about now?
How about now?
Great question.
How about now?
Feedback noise, but audio afterwards is working. Yes, sounds okay.
Phenomenal.
There's background noise? I don't hear background
noise. Oh, I think when I plug my microphone in, or potentially as a habit of checking if my mic's on when my ear pods are in, I scratch the top of my mic with my fingernail to see if it makes noise.
Rude.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Inside a Blaseball. We are your hosts, and we are stuck inside a Blaseball, and the only way out is to answer your questions with audio. Is my audio too loud, or is it okay for other folks? I can turn it down.
Okay, I'm just a blur. That's fine.
It's very funny.
Yeah. The focus said no.
It's better. Okay.
Those are all the steps I
You're like voguing now.
Yeah, you're just... Yeah. Sorry, everyone, if my audio gets bonkers. I think my audio cable for my mic is slowly going out and is just deciding randomly when to get borked. So I'm going to buy a new one before we ever stream again. Cool. Welcome. I'm going to do some very brief updates, and then we can just do intros and start answering questions. For those of you that are interested in the playtest realm, the PTR, as it were, we are going to start sending those emails out today. So keep an eye out on your email inboxes if you applied to be a part of that. Make sure that you check those emails, sign those NDAs if you do get an invitation. If you do not get an invitation, you do not have to reapply. Do not worry, we still have your application. We'll be doing it in rolling groups. So if you don't get it now, that doesn't mean that you won't ever get in. It just means that you weren't in the first group. If you haven't applied and you're interested in playtesting some new features for the era, Feel free to apply at any time. We're not closing applications. We are taking them on a rolling basis and sending them out on a rolling basis. And the plan is to start the PTR sometime next week. So if you do get that NDA, you sign it, you could see a preview pretty darn soon. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much is gonna be in there, so we're gonna see, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, we're
I'll
we're
have,
starting a little bare bones.
Yeah, we'll have like a little instructions to like what you can do and what you can't do, and like what to click.
There
on
will
and
be
stuff.
at minimum one feature. I can
At
promise
minimum
you,
one
at
feature.
minimum
At
one
minimum?
feature.
How-
At minimum one feature.
How many
That's what we
features in
provide.
Blaseball? At least one.
At
Least
least
one.
one.
How many
I
bugs?
want-
Hopefully none
I
after the
want you to click
PTR.
on it. I want you to break it. It'll be great. It'll be a great time. Thank you very much. So, if you have no experience doing QA, do not worry. I will take you through the process. And you clicking is the most valuable thing. That is the most valuable thing. Clicking. So.
Love to click. Excellent.
Looks good.
So with that out of the way, we are going to go around, say our names, our role at the game band, and this fun icebreaker to start comes from Elena, because before we started, in a moment of silence, she went, "Do you think Sasuke is going to be in the Barbie movie?"
And then said, I have no idea why I asked that actually.
Yeah.
So I think we should talk about how we
I
think
can't explain
Sasuke
it.
could be put into the Barbie movie in a way that's meaningful. And if you don't
should
know
go
who
last,
Sasuke
then.
is, tough cookies.
I call going last.
Great.
Have
I'll
a
go
very
first.
long
I'll go first.
Yeah, you can go first.
Hi, I'm Steven. I'm a designer and writer on Blaseball, and I only kind of think I know who Sasuke is.
Uh-huh.
Is Sasuke from Naruto?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
I don't
Naruto's
know which
enemy and
one,
also kind of
He's the
boyfriend.
second most important character in Naruto.
Yeah,
though. Okay.
behind Kakashi, of course.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, of course. Naruto's number 3 in his own television show.
Yeah.
Is he like the Vegeta of Naruto?
Yeah, he's the emo
Sure.
sad
If I
Alright,
boy.
knew
thank
who
you,
Vegeta was,
Quinn.
I
Thank
would
you.
say
That
yes.
makes a way more sense to me now. So,
You're
okay.
welcome, Steve.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. I'm Quinn. I'm a community manager for the game band, and yes, of course, obviously.
I'm
I'm going last.
okay. I'm Bria. I'm the community director for the game band. I think Sasuke should be in the Barbie movie, and I do think that Sasuke should teach Barbie how to get revenge for the murder of her entire clan on her older sibling.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Felix, Elena
Yeah,
has to
Felix.
go last. It's your turn.
Yeah.
You have to
Alright,
participate.
well, I think Sasuke is only going to be a cameo in the background in full gear,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is like walking by in a scene.
I love that.
Like God, what's the name of like a Wreck-It Ralph kind of cameo, right?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
that makes
I'm
sense.
Elena. I do web development. It doesn't matter. I think Sasuke could be in the Barbie movie, and he teaches Barbie how to do the eye thing.
The shotting
the
gun,
Sharingan. I don't know.
or
how-
the Mangyaku shotting gun.
I'm sorry. I've never watched Naruto because I'm not a huge loser. Sorry. No offense to people who watch.
Do I need to go get my Naruto headband and wear it? Do I have it in here?
Yeah. I know too much about Naruto for someone who's never watched Naruto because all my friends watch Naruto. Yeah, and he teaches Barbie how to do that, and then, also I don't know, she ninjutsus.
Mhm.
Does ninjutsu.
So actually, Elena, in the plotline of Naruto, shotting gun is a hereditary skill that
maybe
they
Barbie
have.
has it, and she doesn't know how to use it.
Yeah, a Barbie Uchiha. These
Barbie's
are baby
actually
jokes
the one
only
that
for
killed
me.
everyone in that village.
Yeah,
It wasn't his brother or whatever.
yeah.
happened to Naruto.
Uh,
He's actually Barbie, and then she forgot and went to wherever she lives in the Barbie movie.
mhm. Malibu, probably.
And then she
I'm a big fan of the fact that we're appealing to our core audience, people who have seen Naruto.
Yeah.
also I do think I think there is a non-zero chance there is going to be a Sasuke cosplayer in the background of some shot in the Barbie movie because they shooting in public, so anyone can walk around in the background.
Anyone could be Sasuke when you really think about
Anyone
it.
could be. You could be the Sasuke in the background of the Barbie movie
Oh,
right now.
Oh, fuck.
We gotta.
I'd hate to find out that I'm Sasuke.
Yeah, big if true. Well, with that out of the way, I think we can hop into questions.
I definitely forgot to introduce myself as what I do.
Yeah, you
Right.
just
Yeah,
you're too
that's
distracted
fair
by
enough.
Sasuke.
Well, you got through the important stuff, so now
Yeah.
Yeah, now we can
Exactly.
just do whatever.
Don't worry about who I am. It doesn't matter. Let's go.
It says your name on the thing.
Okay, great.
I'm Felix.
This one comes to us from Max. Max asks, many sports fans have traditions and rituals to give their team luck. What rituals do you do before a code push or content drop?
Pray.
I try to get everybody to make breakfast tacos before.
This is
every
true.
season. It's opening day.
Before code pushes, we do this thing. It's called code reviews. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I haven't.
It's this thing. It's just like weird tradition that people have in
it's a strange ritual of good working practices.
Yeah, it's very weird, honestly. I don't know why. It's a very strange tradition. It's not like it does anything.
No, of course not. It's purely symbolic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's superstition, really.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually mean anything.
Is this mixing better for those that were having audio stuff? Oh, yeah, apparently I was a lot louder even though the, like, bars were like this. So I shifted it even more to see if that helped. Felix is just quiet.
Oh, I can be louder. I'm just far away from the mic is all. I'll just put it closer to me. And then
Keeper Skates is watching somewhere, just, like, pulling out their hair. I'm so sorry, Skates.
Very upset with us. It's okay. Sorry, Keeper Skates.
I didn't even adjust the Zoom Room's audio. This one is not on me, Twitch chat. It is maxed.
My weird. That was not even mine. So Gooby used to have this tradition that during. So we used to all watch elections. So it's not a code push, but we used to also all like get around when it was like the smaller staff that we had at the time, and we'd all log on a Sunday and like just watch the election happen, so that if there was a bug, we could like fix it on the fly, right? And then also the community team is always getting together in the Discord to make sure that teams can communicate and stuff is like going smoothly in the Discord. So Gooby used to get a watermelon and just cut it in half and use it as its own bowl, which sounds as barbaric as it should, because he would just use it, cut it in half, and then use it as its own bowl, just get a spoon and just eat it with his camera off. It's not even his camera on, so you could just hear the watermelon noises in the mic.
It's like a Stranger Things audio capture.
Yeah,
like,
it
for
was
the
just
snorkeling.
like
Right.
and like he would mute, but like had to be unmuted quite a bit. And so like I would just be on a computer in a separate part of the house, and I would just hear these like awful noises, and I would be like, "Turn on your camera, you coward!" And so then he would, and me thinking that the rest of the team would be like, "Wow, that's such a crime." Everybody was like, "Wow, that's really smart." I think Steven
whatever,
specifically
right?
was like, "That's genius," and I was like,
I've definitely done that with a cantaloupe before.
Yeah.
"Cantaloupe, I've also done it with." There's something about
Yeah.
watermelon. It's too.
I just don't like
big.
watermelon.
Too
So.
wet.
It's too big. I don't like watermelon either, but it's too big, and then you can't fit it in the fridge. And there's
That's
no way
true.
to
Need a
like
bigger fridge.
scoop it out
I
and save it after that, because
feel like
you've just created
you gotta
these
have
little
you gotta have two people in on the eating half the
and
watermelon.
I'm not in.
Yeah.
So
I think you
and
could
so
also.
I would just open the fridge. My
Half a watermelon.
pre-code drop tradition was opening the fridge to just like a watermelon taking up my entire fridge in two halves, one partially eaten.
This is a challenge, Felix, that I think you could rise to meet. My favorite pre-game thing that we do is we just sometimes hop into a huddle or a Zoom chat right before like the beings are about to talk, and we all just sit there in like quiet, anxious anticipation as like Joel narrates to himself the things that the beings are going to say, and we like say stupid stuff to try to distract Joel to make him say stuff that like he shouldn't say because he
'Cause
hears those words at the same time.
Didn't that work once?
Yes, I think
Uh-huh.
it was where are you, friendo? Was the line because Felix was talking about the cat.
It was
And,
very funny.
Yeah, that's basically my answer too. Is I love to just get in a voice call with other people that are also stressed, and try to be less stressed.
We all vibrate on the same frequency of anxiety.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. Well, this one comes to us from Chatty. How did the monitor come to be represented by a gosh darn it, Quinn?
What's up?
By a squid icon / be a squid. Why is the monitor a squid? There's no other questions that could be raised in this moment. Just that one.
Such a good question.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Do you know?
No.
Do you all know the answer?
I don't. I mean, I assume it's
I mean, I
because of the
know-
trench.
Yeah, I know that answer.
Will you give us the answer, Stephen?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's. I don't know. Actually, you can give at least part of an answer.
yeah, I will say like squid was one of the options. It's hard not to give certain things away.
This is why
Yeah, I don't know. Like we looked
questions
at game icons, and we were between a few, and there was a lot of debate over like what the monitor was and how it manifested. I remember one of the other icons was just like a giant eye, and we like to leave it more mysterious. But look at that squid. It's just
Once you see it, it's hard to say no.
Once we made it huge on the screen and made it like bob around a little bit and like speak in lowercase.
It was
like,
definitely the moment that Elena made it bob slightly.
Yeah,
We were all
and
like,
then we started like
that's
we
it.
just started
That's the
doing
one.
it.
That's the monitor. Yeah.
We do a certain voice when we like do any of the characters or any of the beings. And once we kind of started talking like the monitor, it just fit. So yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting to me.
There are other reasons. So, but yeah.
There are other reasons. We don't have to go into them. I do think that it's interesting. The voice for the monitor, it kind of happened like simultaneous to that, but the monitor and the concept of the monitor happened before we had like a form in our heads, right? Like we knew about the monitor and then we went and looked at an icon. Not every thing in Blaseball is like that, right? So I mean the peanut was just a giant peanut, so that's like easy. That's like totally, I think that's self-explanatory. Insofar as it was a giant peanut. It was the same peanut we used for the peanuts, and then we made it big. So there's
Simple
that.
enough.
Yeah, that one was Joel going like, I don't know, I have this spinning peanut that I made.
Yeah, the
Let's
peanuts
put it up
spun,
and
and we
yell
were
at
like,
people.
okay.
Yeah, and we were like, all right, fine. Yeah, we
Look,
need
this
something.
is simply a design principle that I think was fully justified by Elden Ring, of just taking a small thing that you have and you make it bigger, and all of a sudden it's cool again.
Yeah.
It works.
It's true. It's either tiny or really big, and that's what we did, right? There was no medium peanut. It was just like the little bitty peanut, and it spun,
Right.
or the really big peanut, and it spun. So yeah.
And now we have the baby peanut as well, which is very, very
Oh,
small.
I don't know how I
Of
feel about
course.
baby peanut. I'm still not sold on baby peanut.
Whoa.
Wow.
The young god.
Controversial
young god.
opinion.
Just wait. Young god's got
Yeah.
plans.
I know,
the
and I'm
baby
not into it. I'm not gonna lie.
It's too small. There's something suspicious about him.
It's not suspicious. He will
Very suspicious.
All baby
the
peanuts.
shell
are
one will
suspicious.
tell you straight up what it wants. I don't think
That's
subtlety
pretty
has never been its
Upfront honesty
strong
in this
suit.
economy.
Subtext. What is that?
Subtext in my Blaseball? I don't believe it.
I only read the text.
Yeah, exactly.
I refuse to read the text or the subtext, and only,
Yeah, honestly.
only watch.
I just don't
number go
read.
Up. Watch funny bobbing squid. Nothing else. Head empty. Great. Next question comes to us from Sonder. Were the pregame rituals for the legends randomly generated, or were they chosen on purpose? I think specifically people are curious about Parker's pregame ritual being regretting past mistakes, or something like that.
That's just prehistory. I don't. It's just
Steven,
that's how it
this
was.
is not an answer. Okay, great. Well, this is the answer that we received. So we must make our
Okay.
peace.
All right.
It's like a it's like a magic 8-ball.
Yeah, ask
again later.
Answer unclear.
Wait, did we shake Steven? Is that?
Yeah, should we try again? Just give him a little ruffle.
Yeah, I don't know. There's like prehistory. I mean, there were a number of, depends on which character you're talking about. There were a number of just kind of random picks. There were some that may have been written or chosen from, you know, the list, but I don't know. It depends on which Parker you're talking about, really. So
That's very true.
Next question. If you had to imagine the most interesting version of Blaseball for you personally, what part of it would be the most prominent? Like the elections, the gods, the games, etc. Like what part would be most interesting and prominent for you?
So what got me into Blaseball in the first place was reading a screenshot of the election text that was at the end of season 1 about the Forbidden Book opening and Jalen Hot Dog Fingers getting incinerated. I think there's something really special about the elections in general, but also the reveal of a really significant election. It feels like everyone, including the staff, is just like waiting with bated breath to see what happens. And that part of it, I think, has always been really appealing to me, both as a fan and now as an employee. Like, I think that like something big is about to change. Like the election at the end of the discipline era, when you were like selecting parts of like major ways that the game is going to develop in the future. Like that part, I think, is the coolest thing to me, because you don't know what's going to happen, and it's great.
I agree. I think
There's magic to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that like spark of the like communal fear and also either joy or despair in the moment and not knowing which way it's going to go. I think mine is tangentially related to that. If we could like find the horror knob on the like mixing board for the Blaseball experience and just like crank it up 3 notches, just be like a bit spookier, stakes are a bit more like alarming, and we all spend a little bit more time being terrified. I love that. I think
you
there's
mean
a lot of joy.
the control panel?
Yeah,
The scary
the
shit's really
incinerate
good.
button is.
That's where like the weather
dial
dial is. Yeah.
There's the
The
horror
it's
dial.
an incinerate. It's a big wheel. We've established this. It's like
Yeah.
a
Wait,
big.
Okay.
hey.
Yeah.
Did anyone-
Well, there's a wheel. We all have like an incinerate button that like our
Yeah.
hand just.
Well, like
hovers
to turn it
over.
on, but like the incinerate. It's
Yeah.
like it's like a crank sort of like one of those
okay.
big
I was
ones that they
imagining
have
like
on a pipe.
I think we might have left it in Los
No,
Angeles.
It's
though.
like a big thing that you have on a pipe. There's one of those big red ones
Yeah.
that like you crank.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's the incineration dial. Like how many incinerations? It's a big one. It's on a wall somewhere in the control room.
Yeah. Next to.
And it does have a big sign that says "Do not touch."
I didn't read that. That sign can't stop me because.
Well, no one reads.
I don't think. Wait, there was a thing that we were gonna do that I don't think we're gonna do ever. Hold on. Let me ask Felix.
Oh
You
God.
can DM me.
Yeah, check with Felix first.
If you use Zoom chat, it'll pop up in the window. So
Yeah, don't use Zoom chat.
Cover it. Close your eyes, everyone. Yeah, I think I really like baseline Blaseball, but I think there are those moments where the like monotony breaks in a way that is like very, very thrilling, and like I think having too much of that would take away how like special and exciting it is. But
yeah,
we just
like
crank
it's-
those dials up a bit, and we all share the beautiful human experience of emotions together. Wouldn't that be cool?
You know, something I really love that I like haven't really talked about that much in my experience of Blaseball was at the very beginning, and I did this the whole way through, but it's the first time it happened was at the very beginning. While I was watching one of my first games, August Mina grounded out a lot, and I just started calling them August Ground Out Mina, and it's stuck, and it's been the thing I call them for as long as Blaseball's been a thing now, for no reason other than one game once they grounded out too many times and I got upset with them. And I just want to say that is exactly sports for me.
Yeah, that
where
is very
and a lot of
sports.
other
Yeah.
people build opinions of players based on like a tiny snapshot of their entire career, and then we call them that for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And it is like deeply disrespectful, but also somehow what we feel like is our prerogative. And I just want to say I brought that into Blaseball, and I know it's toxic, but I really kind of enjoy
It's
doing
okay
it
'cause
without
they're
feeling
not real.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
it's okay.
exactly.
There, I love
can't feel.
I love all of our children equally, but there
same.
are some,
Even
there are
August
some,
ground out
there
media.
are some baseball players that I despise.
I love all of my
hate
children
them.
equally.
One,
but earlier in the
glad
day,
you're
I don't
dead.
care for.
Glad you're dead. You're never coming back. I
Yeah.
promise.
Right.
I know
Okay.
which one
Do
you.
not
I know
resuscitate
which
Liz.
one is the one you hate. And I
Well-
won't say, but I know.
There's more than one.
Yeah, it's true. But there's a specific one though.
Steven has a list of like little meow meows, but it says like with a frowny face afterwards. He's crossed out their names with a red X.
Oh yeah. No, it's not Tillman. I genuinely love Tillman.
I don't think anyone will ever guess who it is.
Yeah.
It's very weird and obscure and specific to a situation.
Okay, so I think
Parker McMillan. No.
no.
Yeah, it's Parker. No.
Yeah, I think Gabe would let us do it.
And you
like.
can't say who it is.
Because it was an
funny,
expansion era
so
idea.
let's
It was an
go.
expansion era idea, so I don't think we'll ever do it. Like not in that way. We were going to in the expansion era, like if we'd had more time and like time and resources to build stuff, we were gonna like potentially we kicked around the idea of potentially you breaking into like a separate part of the website where there was a control panel with like the weather dial and the incineration dial and all of it, and then just let you do what you do.
Damn.
But we didn't
know
get
that
to
was
do
a
that.
possibility, but it
Yeah,
delights me and terrifies me as an
Possibility is a
operator.
very strong word, Bria.
I don't think that was
a thing.
ever going to be a thing.
Anything's
I think that would have
possible
gotten
if you
shot down
believe.
immediately if
It
it
is-
was
it
pitched to
was-
tag.
It was definitely in the pitches. You know, there was a point where we went so far with the expansion era, I think that we all kind of didn't know where to go, and the meta felt like it was the only place to go for a little bit there, and we were like, okay, then maybe this is good. I think the where we went was much better, and also similar in a way, where you felt like you really were affecting things on a screen, right? Which was pretty cool.
We were gonna we were gonna like do a lot that like
A lot.
ultimately we didn't do for better reasons. We were gonna make people play like a massively multiplayer game of like Hangman, basically, to
yeah.
be
Yes, I
able
remember
to
this.
be able to
Yeah.
even break into the gift shop. Like it was getting ridiculous, but
Yeah, it really was.
Very
It was
Stanley
some cool,
Parable
really
view.
fun. The thing about the expansion era is that I think it was the most fun to pitch ideas internally and the hardest to like figure out what was possible and then put it in the game. Obviously, I really enjoyed Discipline Era for that too, but I think like the idea, that's where, I mean, expansion era is when Fridays became a thing, right? So it's like we just all leaned in really hard on all of our ideas and didn't worry about whether they were possible until a little later. Whereas like now we're much more practical, I think, about when we think about when something's possible. Like the moment when we do it is much earlier. So, which is nice. So,
Yeah.
That helps.
It's good to realize that something won't work like a ways before you deploy it.
Yeah.
That's a good
Rather than
skill
3
to
days after
practice.
you deploy it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
Just throwing spaghetti at the fans and seeing I was gonna say what's eaten, but that's a weird.
sometimes I feel like the fans, yeah.
Sometimes you just have to throw a handful of spaghetti into a crowd. and see if
Sometimes
they
you're
like
the
it.
Throw
wall
noodles at
and
people.
sometimes you're the spaghetti, like that's how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So true, bestie.
So true. Wow.
So
Wow.
So
wow.
true.
That might be the episode title. I'll think about it.
Yeah, I've already forgotten what it was, but it.
Sometimes
rung
you're the
true.
wall, sometimes you're the
sometimes you're the
spaghetti.
spaghetti.
Okay.
Sometimes you are the wall by Pink Floyd.
Yeah. Sometimes you're
Thank
the wall
you.
by Pink Floyd.
Yeah, yours.
I forgot who the wall was by halfway through that
Yeah,
statement.
you nailed it. Honestly, you
guess.
sounded
I'm glad you
really
got there.
confident.
Yeah, no, that
so.
was great.
Yeah.
I was trying to piece together a like 1985 by Bowling for Soup joke because it's like Debbie just hit the wall and I couldn't get there in time. So I'm gonna ask a next question instead. Ooh.
Cool.
Since Blaseball the game responds to a lot of fan input, how do you talk about or think about the relationship that fans have with Blaseball compared to the relationship that they have with other games? Big question.
Wait, can you say the
I
question
don't.
again?
Next question. No.
Can you repeat it?
Yes. Since a Blaseball the game responds to a lot of fan input, how do you talk about or think about the relationship fans have with Blaseball compared to other games? Like, how is the
Compared
input
to
and
other games.
relationship with Blaseball
I see what you're
different
saying.
than how they influence other games?
Not how fans of Blaseball relate to other games, how
Yes.
our fans relate to Blaseball versus how
Yes.
anyone would relate to a different game. Okay, got you.
Yes.
Yeah, I think actually there are a lot of similarities, if I'm being honest. It's just that there is an opportunity to share it with your fellow fans, right? And I think that that's what really sets it apart. The fact that it's live doesn't, it mean lots of games are live, and a lot of games, even something like Fortnite is live insofar as it's always being developed and fans can express happiness about things, and then who knows, maybe it can make it into the game. The fact that we're text-based means that sometimes it feels like text, like when you are writing text, you are one-to-one with the technology we're using for the game, which is not true, but it's a pretty cool like parody between expressing yourself and then seeing something in the game, right?
And a lot of games are live, but most of them aren't simultaneous, which makes it really interesting from a community perspective. Is like, I can think of a couple things in the past. Like, there's some like world events that changed the map in WoW. There's like the way that Fortnite ends their seasons. But like, there's very few examples of like large scale simultaneous game experiences. Like, if I'm playing Destiny 2, there's 150,000 people online, but we're not all experiencing the same thing at the same time. That wouldn't even really work within that game design concept. But the way that everything is simultaneous in Blaseball makes that super interesting, because every design that the development team makes, or every decision that the development team makes, hits everybody at the same time, presuming, whatever people are actually paying attention at the time. But it makes for a very cool, very different thing.
It also makes for a really special, like, the only other game I can think of that I know did something like this was like Club Penguin, where sometimes there would be a rumor that kids would start in Club Penguin, and then the devs would see the rumor and then kind of get excited and then float the idea of implementing the rumor, and then the rumor would go live, and then everybody would be like, "Oh my god, it's true!" It's like real. when everybody stands on the side of the iceberg, it tips, right?
Yeah.
And that's a great example of like a very similar dynamic where it's a pick and choose, right? Like the developers have to sort of sit down and go like, this seems really special and also achievable. Maybe let's put it in. And with Blaseball, I think we have a lot more flexibility, and also a lot less flexibility in some ways, a lot more constraints, right? But the fidelity means more flexible, but more constraints. And I think that's cool. I think like it being simultaneous creates this like very special pocket of, were you there? No. Well, next time you want to be there, right?
Yeah. I think there's something very magical. I would normally, I feel like, say the word genius, but I feel like now that I'm on the team, that's a little arrogant. But like, there's some majesty in the design of Blaseball, and that I feel like the like player input and choices are not that different from like the kind of input that you would put into a game in another experience, but it feels a lot more magical because of that communal experience. Like, it feels a game is designed well when it feels like you've broken it, but you've done exactly what the developers wanted you to do the whole time. Like, you figured out the pieces and the clues, and you've solved the puzzle and gotten exactly to the point where it feels like you have broken a rule, but that was exactly the point all along. And I think that is I think part of what makes the Blaseball experience feel so special. I think the way that I think about it a lot is the idea that like we've compared Blaseball to an ARG before, but I feel like the developers set up these like pillars and like this world and these like clues and concepts and like experiences, and then all of the fans of Blaseball exist within that world and just are like putting puzzle pieces together or like trying to solve some grand conspiracy, like murder mystery style plot that we have devised, and we're just sort of watching, going like, yes, yes, do more.
Yeah, it's this kind of ties into as well. I didn't answer the question about like what would what's the part of Blaseball. I don't know if it was like that I care most about or that I would want to see.
Yeah.
The thing that's, you know, most Blaseball for me, I guess, or whatever. It's like a lot of planning in charting out the limits of the possibility space and in designing almost, you know, we want to design things so that they work, but we design for edge cases too, so that we can know what, you know, not only like the room that we have to pivot or to riff and seem kind of improvisational, or be improvisational, but also just, you know, the ways to kind of create that sense of magic that you are on the verge of like breaking something or discovering something that was, you know, maybe just underneath the surface, and push the game in a certain direction. So like when it comes to like, you know, where I would love what I love about Blaseball and where I love it to go and be about is just encouraging more of that sense of exploration, just broadening that possibility space, and not only broadening it, but just making it as deep as we can, so that, you know, we can kind of hand you the fans a bit of like the wheel in terms of like where they want to go within this space, and continue to find things. But that takes a lot of building and planning and being able to build things that you're like, this might not be found now or ever, like presenting real narrative choices or design choices that feel like they have meaningful stakes. A lot of the time means like giving you choices that mean that other choices will be closed off, or there'll be content you just never saw. And that's tough, right? That's tough in games to be able to build for that, because a lot, and especially in most games, because like there's art that you need to make, and that's expensive, and that, like, you know, in animation, and you can't be like, and to make something and then go like, well, most of the players aren't ever going to see this, or maybe there's a chance that nobody's ever going to see this, is like a risk that you can't afford to take, really. You know, because as Felix said, like, this is a text-based game, it gives us more room. We can kind of spin things out quicker, or we can be, you know, more okay with the fans, you know, going down one path that cuts off, you know, obstructs another that we aren't able to visit, and just kind of committing to it. So just deepening that, and then that sense of like emergent narrative that like the sim is so good at giving us. Like, we've talked a lot about just ways to deepen that I think, you know, we can continue to work at going forward into the future, that would only kind of continue to encourage that sense of like magic and that live experience, to Quinn, to your point, that we're all, you know, experiencing together. Because that was the whole intention, right? Like, watching something with other people happen live, it's not an experience you get a lot.
Yeah, and it's something that's very sports, which is cool.
Right, exactly. Yeah, totally.
Excellent. Well, this one comes to us from Corey. Thank you, Corey. What things have you been thinking about doing in the next era to make the process of running and creating Blaseball easier and less stressful for the game band? Also a big question.
Right.
I know on the community side, we've been doing a lot of work to streamline our process, to streamline our communication with folks, to really be proactive about how and when we're communicating with the audience, and also in like our spaces, how information's available. We've been thinking a lot about what a new user experiences when they come into the server as well. And I think a lot of our work as like community managers has been spent trying to like onboard people onto the experience of like this very specific internet space with a lot of very specific ideas and a lot of specific in-jokes, and new fans being like, ooh, this is a lot. What do I do? How do I hang out? Everybody's saying things so fast. And so we've been thinking a lot about onboarding and how to both cut out some manual work, but also just make it easier and more approachable for new folks to like experience Blaseball with others in a way that is like approachable. And that comes with like shoring up all of our internal process and documentation and all of that, which is boring, but is stuff that we're working on right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of boring answers to this question that
Yeah.
basically amount to a lot.
Implementing
A
cross-team
lot.
communication strategies.
Yeah, like, you know, it's a fully remote studio, and like there are a lot of inherent hurdles in that that I think we've been doing a really good job of actively addressing, like the whole time I've been working here. Like, yeah, you just keep getting better at it. You just keep getting better at working together as a remote team. You get better at developing tools to make sure that you're not doing double work or work that will never be useful for anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process, and you know, now we have a PTR, so like I think that's a sign of one of the things that we've done to help make sure that things are easier to develop is that they get tested
Very
before
true.
they're released. That's a good one.
True.
Yeah, that was what I was going to mention. Is just that like,
Sorry.
no, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's true, and it's perfect, and it's like something that is going to help us make an experience that we feel. It's not even I mean, it is about quality, obviously, but it's about like quality of life for development, right? So it's like, okay, we tested this sufficient that we know the major bugs are worked out. So now we can focus on content as it goes live, and we can watch it in a way that isn't just about performance, right? And I think that was a big, you know, we've come a long way since the site used to go down every couple hours, and that is huge. But now there's quality of life to be had for not just development but for features, and the PTR, I'll give it to them. I'm very excited.
And I would say that like that doesn't negate like bugs or weird edge cases, right? Like we still want weird edge cases.
There's no amount of QA.
We still
that
want
can
bugs to tell the story. It's just not, you know, being able to avoid things that
Not
break
quite
the
the
game
tournament
completely,
level.
or like
Yeah.
my poor title
It'll be
belt.
really fun.
So
yeah.
sorry.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
R.I.P. title belt.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that
we would love to be
The
able to
bow
be
tie,
able to
the like
test that.
wild, yeah.
Not just push it and then hope. Yeah, you know. So
Cool. Elena, did you have anything to add, or you want me to ask the next
There's
one?
like a bunch of technical stuff we've done, but like it's not fun to talk about, and also I don't think we should
Heard.
really
Alright,
talk about
we're
it.
talking about
But
it.
you know,
Just
lots of quality
answer-
of life stuff on the technical side that we've
the answer is lots.
helped.
Many.
But there's many things that we've done, but it's either super boring or you know, I can't talk about it. So
Yeah, I am excited because I feel like part of the siesta has not only been like building the new era and like thinking about the future of Blaseball, but it's also been like really revamping internal processes to the point where I feel like we're just so much more efficient as a team that as we like build future stuff and think about the future of Blaseball, we're going to be able, I think, to move and pivot and implement things in a way that we haven't been able to before while maintaining quality of life. We've always been good at pivoting and moving quickly, but I think being able to pivot and move quickly and also get enough sleep sounds great. And I feel very, very comfortable and confident that we're moving towards that in a way that's very exciting. Anyway, next question. Do you have any advice for people interested in getting into the games industry?
Yeah. I didn't. Okay, so stay in school. That's number one. I'm not trying to advocate for not staying in school. However, you do not need a degree in something specific to game design or games in order to be in games. I come from a what I affectionately call the double dropout school of failure, insofar as I dropped out twice from two separate degrees, once in my early 20s and once in my late 20s. And you know, academics don't work for me. They just don't work, right? What I did bring over into games was a skill set that I had felt, I wouldn't say confident, but I felt was my best bet, right? I was like, okay, these 4 skills for me are interesting. I like them, and I'm going to do them and see where they fit into the games industry. And I'm not doing any of those anymore because they were mostly programming related, and I ended up being in management and production. But don't worry about that. Your path does not need to rely on those. Just your way in needs to have some basis in a skill that you actually like enough to do it every day. And there are so many departments in games. It's not just programming or design or art or even marketing. There are layers and layers and layers of cool stuff you can do on games, and the tools you will end up using are probably tools you've never used, depending on where you end up. So keep it general. When you've got time, if you have time, I know time is difficult and energy is difficult, but dip your toes into different aspects of game design, whether it's on the web or whether it's mobile. And I'm not saying make a whole game. Even if you just become familiar with terminology and some tools that are being used, and you do a little reading and Wikipedia searching and stuff like that, you're going to speak a language that shows someone that you have any shared language with them, and it's going to be much easier to do things like interviews and chat about stuff and learn on the job too, right? So the other part is just game jam. Do one a year, do one every, I don't know, few months if you're really, really keen on it. Do not focus on finishing your game. Focus on the process and what you learned. Do not worry about finishing a game during a game jam. Do not come out of it thinking you were a failure if you didn't finish a game. Roll that, whatever you learned, roll it into the next one and keep reusing stuff. That's another thing. Like, I don't understand why people don't just reuse stuff that they made in their first game jam, because all they got was like a text field input. Great. You have a text field input. Awesome. Let's go. Let's make the next one a text field input plus a little bouncy ball. It's truly about the process and what you learned, not having something at the end of it. Those are my 2 pieces of advice. Anyone else?
I also have advice, but I was leaving space if other people had it. So this is catered to more of the soft skill zone of games, as far as like community, social media, marketing, etc., because those are my bread and butter.
I would call programming a soft skill. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Having
You're
been
gonna
a
just
programmer,
call my
I would like to
bachelor's
say
of science a soft
I would like to
skill?
say that the best programmers I know have more soft skills than programming skills, regardless of how hotshot programmers
Okay,
they are.
that's fair. That's fair.
Wow, do you
That's my
think
TED
it's
Talk.
hard to
That
copy
is
from
fair.
Stack Overflow? Jeez.
Hey, my bachelor's of science is very much a hard skill, but
Regardless of the durability of your skills on a hardness scale. The 2 things that I found really, really helpful were, one, when I decided that I was like, I think games would be a good place for me, I started following a lot of people that I looked up to that made things that I liked on social media. Like, I followed a lot of game devs and a lot of like people whose opinions I trusted, and just having that flow of content and like industry dialogue surfaced to me inherently in my social media feed gave me that language that Felix is talking about, gave me like insight into the kinds of things that were going on in the industry enough that I could like maybe form opinions but also keep them inside, because I didn't know what I was talking about yet, but I got a grasp of the kind of things that I should be thinking about when I was encountering things in the games industry. And I think it's also, especially following women and people of color and people from diverse backgrounds in games, there's also a level of like understanding what you're getting into in an industry that's like newer and has a lot of wide-ranging values and morals at different companies and how those are implemented across employees. Like, I think it's good to understand and feel comfortable getting into that kind of circumstance. But the actual useful advice, I feel like, is that the only reason I feel like I am where I am is because I spent a lot of time really investing in people that I thought did cool stuff and like caring about the stuff that they did, and built like meaningful and valuable relationships with them. So I like joined a server that from a like publisher that made games that I liked a lot and spent a lot of time there and like invested in the other people in that space and built relationships with people in that space. And because of that, I was able to have connections that then when something came up and they knew enough about me, they were like, Bria, is this something you're interested in? And that's how I got my foot in the door, was just like giving a shit about the cool stuff that other people made and like meaningfully investing time and energy, which is technically networking, but I feel like when people say networking, they think about like handing someone a business card and seeing what they can get out of the other person. And I think you should just be a nice person and invest in other people's work. And that's been very valuable for me in meeting new people and building my network in the games industry.
I don't have a good answer because I'm still internalizing that this has happened to me.
This is fair.
Yeah, you know.
You're muted, Felix.
Yeah. Felix, you're muted.
Or very quiet.
You
You can-
both.
Something.
You,
There
no,
you go.
I was muted. You're both great examples. Let me get my light back of people who saw networking as I mean, not as networking even. You saw creating genuine relationships with people as the priority, right? You were not looking to leverage those relationships in any way. You were really truly making friends, and I think that's really cool, you know. And I think that's it's definitely how I've always tried to tackle networking. You know, in general, the number one priority is to make a connection and see how that connection blossoms, not make a connection with the explicit intent of doing anything with it, you know, or leveraging it. And I think,
Because,
you know, or you can be like Elena, who sent us a resume first out of everyone who ever sent us a
Yeah.
resume.
Through
And
email.
I went,
Yeah.
that one. I was like, we have to hire this
Sometimes
one.
that
Every
works.
that's fantastic.
Confidence, genuine connections, being good at Googling, regardless
Right,
of
'cause
your
there's-
position. Research.
There's a
Yeah.
version of networking that amounts to like DMing people you like your work, and that's not the version of networking that works, you know, because that's not
Yeah.
building relationships, that's trying to impress somebody, and that almost never is a good way to start networking. Like it sucks to say, but like you can't really force it. Like you can't force effective networking. You just have to like be in the right places and not be a dick mostly.
Mhm.
Like there
I
is
definitely-
certainly
sometimes
some
people ask me
amount of
how
luck
I-
involved.
So I get that question sometimes, like, oh, how did you get where you are? And I'm like, 12 years. That's how.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's another thing that
Yeah.
I think is really
12 years doing it.
Yeah.
really,
Like I've had a decade of completely unrelated jobs that somehow ended up here.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it just happens.
I think when you're thinking about like networking too, I forget who told me this or if I saw it on like game dev Twitter or something, but like someone talked about making sure that when you're thinking about networking and building connections in an industry, not just shooting like above your like class. So like you can, you know, be invested in the work of people that are like doing really cool things and that you look up to, but they were also like, make sure that you're building with connections with people that are on the same level as you, because
Yeah,
if
just
you
your
have
peers.
a strong friendship, as one of your careers takes off, you can lift each other up. You can build
Yeah.
that relationship. Like all of the work that I've gotten in games has come from people that I know being like, oh, I thought of you. And like now a bunch of my people that I like spent time with before I was like a real games person are also now in games, and we like have this rapport already that allows us to like help each other and lift each other up and like talk shop in a way that's really valuable.
Like it's not easy, and it's not like even if you do all of the right things, there's no guarantee that like the networking is going to work out. So I don't think this is like a silver bullet,
Yeah.
but it is like if you're trying to break in, it's the place to start. Is just trying to form friendships with people.
Build skill, build relationship. Go team.
Yeah.
Sweet. Tonal shift. This one comes to us from Keeper Weeks. If a rogue umpire entered your Zoom camera right now to try to incinerate you, what would you use in your camera view to fend them off?
The biggest
Sorry.
book I
King's
own.
Wit.
It's
Sorry.
the biggest book I own, I think.
I'm
It's
gonna
also right
read
next
it
to me.
again. Apologies. If a rogue umpire entered your Zoom camera right now to try to incinerate you, what would you use in your camera view
Oh.
to fend them off?
I would
I
just
don't even.
dodge
I
roll.
usually have a cat. There's not even
Yeah,
a cat. There's a
I
cat.
also have
She's back here. You can't
scissors.
see her. She's in the
I have
dark.
some big books back here.
I got
That's about
scissors.
it. Yeah, just
Oh, I have a Lego Batmobile. I would do that.
That's cool.
I would just let it happen.
Yeah, that
Take
too.
me.
I would be like, yeah, I'd be like, you
Ready.
know what? I am your biggest fan. You
It's the
know?
only way out.
Yeah.
Just
I've
It is
had
the way
enough
to
of this
go,
mortal
really.
coil. I want to go to the hall
Please.
and meet the monitor.
Oh God. Yeah.
I would honestly, I'm built different. I would just befriend the Rogue
I just
Empire.
wouldn't.
Yeah, I just simply wouldn't be incinerated,
yep,
and
right
we would
out
be
of
friends instead.
right out of frame above me is a box of Twilight Imperium 4th edition. I think you could easily beat someone pretty good with that.
Yeah. Yeah, like you're
Here's the
playing
thing, they're
Twilight
in a
Imperium
Zoom
for your
call.
soul with the devil.
Yeah, I would do that. I would do that at the drop of a hat. Let's go. I love
Yeah.
stakes.
I have I've got Bunger. I feel like Bunger
Nah,
could be a good
it's not gonna work.
distraction.
We all have microphones. Aren't umpires and microphones
That's
I
true.
have a
enemies?
sword on my desk.
Bria, you have a sword. How is that not
Yeah.
your first answer?
How did you not mention the sword first?
Bunger's cool.
You have a sword.
It's more of a long
He
dagger.
isn't even reacting. Bria had a sword and she didn't mention the sword.
My God.
Seems like this is not news.
I thought of a weather. I was writing down a weather. Sorry.
Uh,
Bunger
Fantastic.
weather.
You have a
Delightful.
screwdriver.
Um,
Know why I have
A
screwdriver.
very small 3D printed model of the Chrysler building. Not sure how far that would get me.
I have Expo spray, whiteboard spray.
Great.
I have 10 volumes of the Full Metal Alchemist manga.
There you go.
I have a
mean,
few,
fun.
but you can't see them.
once they start reading the Full Metal Alchemist manga, you'll be all set.
It's all
It'll
over.
be
The
Yeah,
Rebel Empire
it's all-
looks up and he's like, maybe war is bad.
It's bad.
exactly.
Maybe using fire to kill people is bad.
Damn.
It
I never
looks
thought about
That
it
is a
before.
core theme of Full Metal Alchemist.
Using
Points
fire
at
to
this
kill
Roy
people is
Mustang
bad.
character.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. I hope
Yeah.
he doesn't have a flawed past that would color my thoughts about his morality. Yeah, I think this will all work.
Yeah.
This one's a bit self-serving, but I'm curious. I want you to picture the most chaotic version of Inside a Blaseball that you can, and I would like you to tell me what it looks like. Gooby suggested earlier a Hot Ones version where it's just him with hot sauce.
I would love that. I would love
We
that.
talked
We
We should,
about
do that.
we
the
should
shotgun and
definitely
the bottle of
do.
hot sauce.
I think we should all put our cameras in a random place in the room, and we just stand very far away and you have to shout towards the microphone and the camera, and you have
Yeah,
to
do
figure
like
out where
that.
we are in the shot,
Yeah.
and we're all
Here's the
doing
thing.
like a funny thing in the background.
Here's the thing. What you're describing is only barely dissimilar from early Inside a Baseball
That's
streams.
true, but I
That
think
is
we should
true.
really
No, you're
play it
true.
up.
Yeah.
Like one of us is
Yeah, no,
cooking in the
you're fully true.
background for some
Yeah.
reason, or like
Yeah.
we're all
Also
doing
suggested
crafts.
a cooking stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a cooking stream would be great. I'm trying to think of like an incredibly difficult co-op video game, like something that
Or-
would just be
or-
a nightmare.
Or we're all VTubers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm probably just gonna do that at some point in the
We're
future.
all
so-
VTubers, but it's like those VTubers where like the chat can like put you in jail or like punch you or whatever.
Yeah,
You know how
oh,
like
yeah.
they always have those interactions where they can get like thrown around.
Yeah.
I will become a VTuber with Twitch chat integration just for IAB.
Yeah.
Thank
For
you,
sure.
Glenn.
Yeah, I'm honestly not that far. I have some of the software already.
I do think it would be very fun. I have toyed around with this idea of having everyone at the company prepare a like 5-minute PowerPoint presentation about whatever they want. And then we just hand somebody else the PowerPoint
Yeah, I like
slide deck and have them give it live, not knowing
I think
what's
that'd be a
coming
fun
in the
one.
presentation.
Oh,
I
that's
think
so
it'd be really
good.
fun.
It
We'd have a
happened-
great time with that.
That happened once. At a local conference, there was a panel called Drunk Pitch. You didn't have to drink for it. Some people did, but this one kid that opened it came up and he's like, "My friends made a slide deck for me about the game that I'm pitching to you, and I don't know anything about it, so here we go." And the first one was like, there's a man, and it was just like a solid snake or whatever. And then he's like, and
Perfect.
what does that man have? And he presses the button and it goes, gun. And had to pitch man with gun as game concept without knowing the rest of the PowerPoint deck. And it was beautiful.
Yeah,
I think
And
that's
it won a
very
game
good.
award, and
yeah, man with gun.
Man with
Yeah.
Gun.
Good idea.
It won
Yeah.
like 6 awards, and it's got a
They're
Game of the
actually
Year
doing-
edition.
Yeah, they're doing a Man with Gun remake soon.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's gonna
a
get the Goaty.
remastered. It came out 6 years ago, but they're doing a
Yeah.
Man with Gun remaster.
The
Yeah,
offshoot
yeah.
of man
PS5.
with gun got a BAFTA, but like the main one didn't. And, you know.
Yeah,
The movie is, of course, in development hell, as always happens.
yeah. There's that HBO miniseries coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Man with Guns is the second one.
Yeah.
It just has 2. Beautiful. Perfect. Now we're gonna flip into the off topic ones. What's your go-to karaoke song?
I haven't done
Okay,
karaoke
so this is-
since
Nobody
I was
wants me to sing
15.
karaoke.
Okay,
Steven, I want you to
so
sing karaoke.
No, you don't.
Since
Like
my voice
I was
dropped,
I was in my I was like in my kitchen, just like under my breath rap, like kind of singing along to a song, like speaking the words to a song to myself.
Mhm.
My partner came in the kitchen and said, "Don't."
don't.
Wow.
I was like, "How did you didn't even hear me?" Like
my
it's
God.
that it's not like fun bad. It's just like everyone's kind of bummed out bad. So
Jeez. Okay.
That's how I feel now, Steven. I used to have like a decent voice, and then when my voice dropped, I no longer understand how to make it do anything.
See, but
yeah,
karaoke
I
is-
think it's doing something.
karaoke. You're
but
not supposed to
it's-
be good at karaoke. You're supposed to
No,
No,
just
I
there's
li-
difference.
Here's the
There's a
problem.
difference.
Well, here's the problem, Lena. My karaoke go-to used to be Mr. Roboto, and Mr. Roboto
Okay.
is like high.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I could hit those notes. I got the kill. Like I could do it, and
Yeah.
I don't even know what a note is anymore. Like if you ask me to sing
Who
like
knows what a
sing
note is,
back
honestly.
something that you play, I don't know how to flex my vocal cords to get there.
Mm.
So I'm still learning how to sing again. I'm gonna need to go to voice training and figure it out. It's gonna be wild.
You're in a
Yeah.
new octave now.
I mean,
I don't think I've
maybe.
done karaoke since I was like 15 or 16 years old. So it's been a while. So it was probably One Direction back then. I'll be honest.
Good.
Right now it could be anything by Carly Rae Jepsen or Taylor Swift. I'll be honest,
Yeah,
because
great.
all of them are
Love it.
bangers.
Yeah.
So it's like
They really
impossible to not sing along.
Oh, and I would
strongly
sing
agree.
All Too Well, the 10 minutes.
All Too Well
version
10-minute
with you.
version would be the best
It would
karaoke
rip.
song.
It'd be bad for everyone
I can
else,
do
but
the
it's
whole
great for me.
thing.
Yeah.
Easy. That's like nothing. I don't even need the words on the screen.
Yeah.
Honestly, you don't even need a karaoke machine. They play that song in a bar and everyone starts singing.
This is
I've
true.
seen the
Just put me in-
videos.
Put me in, coach. I am an alto for sure. My head voice not good. Low voice, all right. Like Bo Burnham is perfectly in my range, but no one wants me to sing Bo Burnham at karaoke night.
No.
So I end up usually singing the like boy parts of show tunes. Like I'll be
Yeah.
like Aladdin in A Whole New World, or like Seymour in Suddenly Seymour, or like
Those were great examples,
Yeah.
juxtaposed against each other. I would like to say,
yeah,
you know,
or
like
I was
Aladdin
Troy
from
Bolton.
Disney's Aladdin or Seymour.
Or
Yeah.
Seymour.
I'm thinking of a very specific karaoke night where we like I went from like Troy Bolton to like Aladdin to like
Okay.
Seymour to
Yeah.
Kristoff from Frozen, and was just like the handsome boy in all of my soprano friends' karaoke experiences for them. And
I
that
could
was
do
fun.
any High School Musical. That's
Yeah.
also on the list.
Yeah, there's
Except for any of the ones from the third movie, I don't know them well enough to do karaoke.
there's also there's a band that tours called the Emo Band, and they just have like 30 or 40 emo songs that they cover as a live band, and you like go up on stage and perform with the band, and like the guys are
Damn.
very nice. And I did Dear Maria Count Me In by All Time Low,
Yeah.
and then I did
Classic.
Jamie All Over by Mayday Parade, and those were both very fun. Quinn, you got a
Those are
karaoke
decent.
hit?
It's probably not a particularly interesting answer, but like, there's a wide variety of classic rock that I grew up listening to through my parents. That it's like any of that, like a whole bunch of Queen, a bunch of Kansas, a bunch of
Can
Journey.
you do a Joy Division? I feel like you could do a Joy Division.
I could do a Joy Division. I could do a
feel
Joy
like you-
Division.
I feel like
I have decent range.
Yeah.
So, but I was about to say professionally. As far as my training is concerned, I'm a bass. I'm a bass and a baritone.
right.
As far as, but I have like low tenor also.
Yeah.
Like I can kind of sing whatever, but I'm bad at singing in a stylized way because I like spent many years like being taught how to quote unquote sing correctly.
Got it.
So now I have a
Right,
really
so-
hard time singing anything where the singer is not
Classically
like
trained.
quote unquote singing correctly, which is not something I actually ascribe to, but like it makes it kind of weird sometimes. But classic rock, probably just any random given classic rock, I could break out.
How do you all know like
Know
what
what?
octave you sing in? Like that's
Oh,
just
I
a
was-
thing,
I was
you
in
know. I don't know what I don't.
That
I-
yeah,
no
that
one's
just
ever
comes
told
from
me. I don't
that just
know.
comes from
Band
being
or
in chorus.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wasn't in any
yeah.
of that stuff. I have no idea.
If it's
That's fine.
high, you're probably soprano. If it's low, alto. Whatever's like comfy. I thought of another.
I mean, like I know the
one.
words. I don't know what any of them really mean. I couldn't tell you what I am.
That's
I'm
fine.
I'm probably tone deaf. I've never tried.
Mm.
You can like go to a voice
Like,
class
why?
and they would just tell you everything you need to know.
Just like I'm not a music person. I've never been a music
I
person.
genuinely do
I
wanna
learned
do
how to
that.
play guitar and I'm not a music
Sorry,
person.
Steven.
I genuinely do want to do that. And again,
You
I
should do
asked
that.
if I
You
should,
should.
and I was told no, as if there was
We
no
will
hope.
enable you. Do it. Get out. Go sing right now. Get out of here.
No.
Leave.
I
Okay, go make an
would-
appointment right
Run
now.
to the voice coach.
Here's a confession. I downloaded what's the program called? I can't remember. And I recorded myself, and then I
Yeah.
tried to auto-tune myself to make it better, and it didn't do anything.
Yeah, I didn't do anything.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't
no.
So
That's
Yeah.
rude.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's rough.
it didn't fix it. It just made me more robotic.
I love that we're at a company called the Game Band.
Yeah.
And that's
Get like the Imogen Heap gloves.
I could play, like, the
and make
drums or
robots sing
something.
With you instead.
you can play the drums. You can play percussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can play the triangle.
Joel's got bass. You could do drums in the background. We got it. You could be a band. I'll get my trumpet. We're a ska band now. I thought of one other song.
I got my keyboard.
I will very regularly, in moments of silence, start singing "I Miss You" by Blink-182 because the voice is very funny. So like anytime there's an awkward silence, especially with my like old trivia team, everyone would like be drinking a beer and sitting quietly and be like, "Where are you?" And everybody.
It
would
is
start
funny
singing.
every time.
It's great. It's a very good joke.
What a good song.
I give you all permission to steal that joke and make it.
All
one
right,
of
it's a
your
good one. I
friends, 'cause
like
they'll
it.
love
Yeah.
Good.
Great. Tonal shift again. We're doing a roller coaster. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? Oh, Quinn, I haven't seen that one. Oh, no.
I don't get advice.
I don't need it.
I don't know. I don't internalize advice.
My therapist gives me.
Why
lots
are you
of
giving me advice? I'm me and you're you.
Yeah, I honestly kind of have the same problem. Like, I'm sure I've been given good advice before. I don't think I listened.
The only good advice I've ever gotten is financial advice.
That's good advice.
like open a savings account.
I think one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was my high school history teacher. He handed out like a 10 rules to life printout, and they covered a lot of things, but one of them was like, don't ever pick up smoking, and the other one was like, credit cards are
Nice.
evil. Don't get a credit card. If you do get a credit card, you need to pay it off in full every time.
Yes.
Assuming that you
that
can.
is
Like,
that is
There's
the
a-
strict
financial.
poverty doesn't always allow this, but assuming that it is
Yeah.
within your financial
Don't
means,
try
good advice.
try your hardest to never get into credit card debt because you
Yes.
will never leave if you are into credit card
Yes.
debt.
Yeah, I guess at some point someone told me not to smoke cigarettes and it must have stuck because I don't. So we could say that. That's probably it.
Don't go to film school. And I did twice. So
And now
Don't get an
he's-
English major, and so
That
I got an
was
English
not-
minor.
yeah.
Yeah, best piece of advice was it's really tough. I've had a lot of really bad advice given to me, so it's hard to like remember the really good advice. I need to think about it. I feel like a lot of advice is about meeting someone that you have enough rapport with that they can just ask you questions that you then answer, and you end up giving yourself the advice rather than they give you the advice. And I think most of the excellent advice I've been given has been a series of questions that led to me
Yeah.
realizing.
Mhm.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I think so. I think that's very true. One of the things that really stuck with me, because I studied comm in school, and you learn a lot of like weird human psychology stuff that you can like hack your brain a little bit. And it was the idea that like if you tell yourself something enough times, you begin to believe it, even if you do not necessarily feel like it's true up front. So like if you're jokingly saying like, oh haha, I'm a garbage can, oh, and like I'm trash and everybody hates me, haha, I'm being ironic, like eventually your brain starts to adopt that as truth if you say it a bunch. And I reverse engineered that to fix my self-esteem when I was younger. Every day I woke up and I was like, I'm hot, I'm cool, everybody loves me, I'm great at what I do. And I like didn't believe it. And then after like a year of staring at myself in the mirror every day doing that, I was like, yeah, I am all those things. Is it true?
Good.
Don't tell me, but I believe it.
Doesn't matter.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Positive
That's excellent.
reinforcement.
Yeah.
I don't know. All the good advice besides financial advice is stuff advice I gave myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Or advice that I probably learned from somewhere, but I don't remember if it was maybe it's just something I internalized. I don't know. Like pick a color or a few colors for your wardrobe to be like your like main colors, so that when you buy stuff that's clothing,
It all matches.
everything matches. So you don't have to like work really hard to make an outfit because everything is like within the right range of colors and shades and stuff. Like obviously, you got your stuff that falls outside of that, but if
that's really good advice that I probably should have followed a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to redo my wardrobe and make it look
I really should.
cohesive.
Right.
Yeah.
For those
you just pick a couple color like like the statement colors.
Yeah.
Like mine are pink and yellow, if you couldn't tell by the bright yellow, and orange also, that orange one, but mostly
warm
pink
color.
Pink and like sunset colors. So like now everything matches. And like stuff with like jewelry too, like you pick the color jewelry you have, and then everything always matches. You don't
Very funny
get silver, you get
things.
gold, and that's it.
Because the other day I was walking to a ball game and I thought to myself, you know what I don't have is blue pants. And I was like, I should get blue pants because it's the only color I don't have.
Don't you have
And I love that
jeans?
you're like, pick a color. And I'm like, you know what I don't have?
Well, I
is,
mean,
like...
it's really only if you're like fighting for your life, trying to get an outfit together every day.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
Then you're like, okay, well,
that's not the case for me because I just have too many clothes. Like I have way too many colored
if you're like,
things,
I
and
literally cannot make an outfit, I have so much stuff and none of it matches, then you should be trying to trim down and the
right, I got you.
colors,
Yeah,
types.
yeah. Well,
Especially if you have like a
knows?
specific
Maybe I'm just-
style,
maybe I'm just completely oblivious to how
Whatever.
unfashionable I am. Could be.
Well, and I just need
Also,
to
I've not worn
come up
anything
and
but like
redo
nice
my wardrobe.
designer sweatpants since
I'm
the
like not
pandemic,
even that
but, like,
fashionable. I just wear graphic tees like this, which just
it's
is
a good one though.
It
I
is
think
good.
it says get in loser,
Yeah.
we're going killing.
That's
So
great.
it's really
Good stuff,
family
yeah.
friendly.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Thanks for wearing that onto our show.
I have a bunch of shirts like this.
That's
I have
beautiful.
and then it's like a jacket and some leggings and some shoes.
Yeah.
I've got these like sick pink Vans that I'm really proud of now.
Oh yeah.
They
Good
match
shoes.
everything.
Good shoes really do.
Yeah,
do
you
something.
need
Good shoes
you
and
need
a good jacket.
good shoes and a good honestly.
I have too many very good jackets, and I hate being warm. So I
Here's
made a
my
mistake.
My newest favorite jacket is this one right here.
Yeah.
Pink and orange.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's very stylish.
It's too warm in here to wear this, but
Oh, yeah, that rips.
That's a really good jacket.
it's from Nordstrom, but it's in the teen section. If you want to go look in BP, the teen section.
Y'all wanna
Hell yeah.
match?
But it totally fits, so it's like whatever.
Hell yeah.
Fantastic.
All right. Next question. This one came to us from one of the keepers, but I don't remember which one. If you played baseball, what position would you play?
Shortstop.
Everyone's gonna
Did you say baseball or blaseball?
I said baseball. If you want to answer for baseball, that's okay too.
Shortstop or catcher?
I have such bad brain worms that
Catcher.
it's really hard for me to say baseball now. It's rough.
My heart says pitcher, but my brain says I'd be bad at pitching. So catcher is my answer.
Yeah.
I like the psychological manipulation that goes on with catchers.
I was thinking that for catcher as well, because also I like the idea of like covertly giving signals
Yeah.
to the pitcher. I think that's something that's appealing.
Mhm.
Yeah, that seems like fun. I would also like catcher, I think. Not to steal your answer, I thought about this ahead of time. And
I have
thought
really
catcher.
bad hand-eye coordination, so I feel like
Yeah.
catcher's the only one where I have a chance at catching the ball.
Mhm.
Ah, man, but catcher's rough. You need to anticipate where that pitch is coming, and those are breaking balls. So you
Yeah.
need to know if you signal for a specific type of ball, and the pitcher's like, no,
But it's
or
like
fails to
only
throw
in a
it.
certain area of your body, so it's not like you have to like
Mhm.
read. I don't know. I'm trying to like. I have terrible. My hand-eye coordination's like fine. It's the depth perception. I have terrible depth perception.
That's what you need as a catcher, though. Be careful. Be careful.
Yeah, but I feel like you
That's
need
true.
to more to
Helena,
catch a
be careful.
ball. I'm
no, you because those balls are coming in at 90 miles an hour.
Well,
straight
yeah.
at the face.
But like you again, there's like less variation on like where specifically it's gonna be. It's only in like a certain area.
Well, I will say the difference.
I'm assuming
between
we're all playing baseball together too, so I'm less worried
Right.
about getting
Like-
murdered by a
Well, the
pitcher.
difference being that a pitcher is not trying to throw into your glove, whereas anyone
Yes,
else on the
that's true.
field is trying to throw directly into your
I guess
glove.
that's true. I don't know. I'm just not very good at baseball.
Why is there so much giggling?
Just Gabe giggling in the background.
Unacceptable.
I would like to be a batter because I like to sit for long periods of time, and I think that I would look very cool. Like I loved in school when we do it, and I'd like put my bat on the ground and like tap it a few times to like really feel confident, or like hold it behind my shoulder. I was like, I look so
Bria?
cool. Then you hit it really hard, and everybody's like,
Huh?
"Whoa!"
But yeah, I don't know how to break this to you, but batter is not a position.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone.
You have
plays
to be-
that.
Yeah, it's not a position.
You have to be a
No.
position.
You
Everyone
mean,
bats but the pitchers.
you're trying to be designated hitter? Is that what
Yeah,
you're
I
trying
Yeah,
guess.
to
you
do?
can be a designated hitter.
You have to be
Yeah.
like on. You're like a. You have to like be an
Like,
infielder
well,
or
when-
an
Yeah,
outfielder.
Yeah, like
when
defensively,
the,
what
when the
position would
inning
you play?
flips, when the inning flips, all the batters end up being somebody on the field, and so
Yeah.
that's
Oh.
The
their
only
position.
people who don't bat are pitchers.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
No, but only
and
in
that's
some
only
of the-
sometimes.
Well, yeah, that's true. Most in like professional baseball.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
I
No,
would-
no,
I'm a
no. In
special
half of
person
the
that
league you
only
do,
gets
and
to hit
half
the
of the league you
ball.
don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I would probably be like center or like left outer fielder.
yeah, outfield.
Put me on shortstop.
Everyone wants to be shortstop because it's the best name.
So you can't put me in outfield because I'd just be in outfield. Like I'd end up with like a Game Boy Color or like a PlayStation or
Yeah.
something. And I just
I
wouldn't be paying any
have
attention.
ADHD. You do not want me
Yeah,
in the outfield.
That's exactly
Yeah.
my problem.
I
Yeah.
will just count. I'll just look at clouds. I'll just count grass.
Like as catcher, I can like focus on something.
Well, like the
Yeah,
odds
in
of
the
the ball
outfield,
going
I'm
to
like-
you in the outfield.
I would make friends with the audience by
Yeah.
accident by making too much eye contact. You know, I'd be like, "Hey, man, what's up? You having a good time?" Oh,
I
shit,
would
that
like
was a
to be the
foul.
ball
Good
boy.
thing that was a foul. Otherwise, I'd be out of
Yes,
a
the-
job.
Ball boy's good.
Position. I'll be the ball boy.
Can I be the person dressed in the mascot costume doing the races? between
Absolutely,
innings?
you can be the mascot. It is
Yeah.
imperative that there is a mascot.
I
Secondly, you could also be coach. I just want to say out loud.
Yeah, if there's
Cool.
if I have to pick a position in baseball, I'm Brad Pitt in Moneyball.
Yeah.
That counts, right? Like,
I'm the coach that stands there and goes, "Let's kill him," you know?
yeah.
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 Like
Right,
doesn't give
right.
any useful advice, is just kind of violent towards the other team, like verbally.
Yeah, like when your parent coaches your like soccer team and like doesn't know how the sport works, but just like yells a lot. It's like that.
Yeah. Or like when
bring
you're at
orange slices.
when people are at, you're at a high school game for like whatever you're playing.
Yeah.
And like the people from your high school come to to watch, and they like scream really mean things towards the
Yes.
other team when they're like pitching
We
or
did that at Ohio
or
State,
serving
yes.
or whatever. That we weren't allowed to do that at my school. We also had chants that we weren't allowed to do in public because they were really mean. But I also went to private school, so they had more control over us.
Fair.
But you know, like that sort of energy, my favorite sports energy.
Yeah.
Hostile
Aggressive
energy. Yeah.
Perfect.
Towards the opponent.
I'm very embarrassed about saying batter, but it's fine.
No, it's okay.
Well, no. First of all, it is.
I really didn't know that for a
a
really long
position
time. It's
in
okay.
Blaseball, yeah, like you can't be faulted for that. Why would you
This
know the
is-
rules of? First of all,
Yeah, so
let's just be clear.
I grew up in
It is-
Pittsburgh, and we
It
have
is
3 big
not
sports
expected
teams.
of you. It is not expected of you to know the rules of baseball. That is not expected in this.
This is true.
So please do not feel bad for that.
I'll do my
I
best.
do love that you said it because batter should be a position.
Did
Yeah.
you say batter?
I
is
mean,
a
there are
position in
positions where you
baseball?
only bat basically, but they're like really rare.
Well, I just like so we
Doesn't
had a
need it
really
here.
good football team and a really good hockey team, and then like the Pirates.
Boo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't really
Good
ever learn
logo,
how that
though.
sport worked. 'cause I was
Solid
too
logo,
busy
though.
winning. But also,
Right.
you know, whatever. I was gonna have a sports opinion, and then I was like, I don't need to bring up the sports opinions on the stream.
Did you know I was in Chicago when the Cubs won?
Wow.
That was my first year of college.
I did not know
Very
that.
nice.
It's a very exciting time in my life. I
Yeah,
was
go
I have
Cubs.
really good sports luck. Whenever I move somewhere, the big team there wins. So when I moved to Seattle, that's the year the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. And then I moved to Chicago and the Cubs won the World Series. So, you know, like just you should be recruiting me
Yeah.
to your
Do you want affordable
your
living
city.
costs and bad state politics? Do I have a state for you? Anyway, our last question comes to us from Robo314. What scene from a game or movie or other piece of visual media has stuck with you since you saw it?
There's a lot.
Since 2014.
Oh no, that was the
Nope.
username.
Oh, sorry.
There's a
There's a
14
lot.
username.
Yeah, Death
There's a lot.
Stranding. I was just Death Stranding.
Conan O'Brien.
Absolutely.
Any-
It's Conan O'Brien in that face.
Basically any scene from Haikyuu.
Wow.
Mhm.
My favorite series of all time. Specifically, I could say the Shira Torizawa match. The moment. If you've seen it, you know.
Right.
And also Nationals. If you've seen it, you know.
Cool.
That's not specific because there's a lot of stuff in Nationals, but you know, just anything. It's all, you know, it's very good.
Mhm.
Quinn,
Any media.
What's up, Felix?
before this stream, did
Uh-huh.
you say to yourself, I'm going to go Twin Peaks into the Matrix into Memento? Is that what you did? Were you like, all right, 3 pieces of media that I'm going to pull out, or are you doing this on the fly?
Well, so this is a collection of, first of all, a bunch of stuff that I've been doing in work meetings for the last couple of months, and then a couple of new ones that I put together for this evening.
We can't believe anything you say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just don't
true.
believe your
genuinely
lies.
true.
Eyes.
So I did not design it in that order. That's what came
A
out of my head
good
over
order.
the course of like 2 months. So it tells you a lot about me as a person that this was unintentional.
Yeah, which of those 3 do you think has the most memorable scene that stuck
Well, so-
with you?
The thing is that I have a
Matrix.
lot of answers to this question because, I interact with movies very visually. Like the visual aspect of a movie is like kind of almost the most important part to me in a lot of cases. Like there's a lot of movies that I absolutely adore just because of how they look, and like it doesn't really matter if like the plot isn't great or like the characters aren't great or whatever. Like if a movie looks incredible, I love it. I'm like
Mhm.
super here for it. Probably the last one, the biggest one that I can remember off the top of my head are the 2 most recent times that a shot made me cry in a movie theater. simply because of how good it looked, because that happens to me sometimes. There was a shot in Portrait of a Lady on Fire where several of the shots where they're just kind of looking out over the ocean. I was like, yes, absolutely yes, 100% yes, all of it. And then the scene in 1917 where the main character is running through the ruins while flares are arcing overhead, and it's just like this entire scene in like stark light from the flare overhead and the shadow of the ruins being cast and like moving as the flare arcs overhead, that just like goosebumps, like instant goosebumps.
Roger Deakins is pretty talented.
Yeah. So there's like a ton of movies where I could just list like a scene that I have never ever forgotten. But those are like the two most recent ones, I think.
I was showing up Pacific Rim. Anything that happens in Pacific Rim, I'll be honest. Also the Batman. For the shots in the Batman.
Oh my god,
Batman hitting the bridge and falling is like,
oh my god.
I mean, there's a better scene where they do like the camera flip and he's walking upside down and you're like,
that whole car chase sequence with the penguin, so good. It looks so good.
Good Night City Halloween, the whole beginning. I just can't.
The Batman is gorgeous. The Batman has no business looking that good.
It does, because it's a yes, it does. All movies.
Well, sure.
I won't get into my opinions. Okay, we don't need to get into that.
Quickly
move on.
I think I have two, and one is like normal and the other one is like very cheesy, and you are allowed to make fun of me for it. The first one is in Spirited Away when Haku is like being attacked by all of the paper, and then he like is bleeding everywhere, and it's just very like needy, like it's very like visceral in a way that was like very exciting for me. And the train scene with all the water, like it's gorgeous. The other one was just because I saw it at like the right time in my life, and it was the first time I'd seen this happen in like a piece of media. It's from Scrubs, the television show. I'm sorry, Steven, you can bully me all you want about this, but there's an episode.
You just went Spirited Away to
Scrubs.
Listen, hey, art can be found anywhere, Steven.
I did not see that coming.
I
that
said
one
you could
got
make fun
me.
of me for it.
The 1-2 punch is a lot. Let's go. Let's hear it.
This is always me. This is my energy. At least I didn't say the baseball scene in Twilight, which I
let's
could.
go.
Hey, that is
So
imprinted in my brain.
So there's a scene in Scrubs where it's a whole episode where Dr. Cox's friend has like not been taking care of himself and like is coming to visit. And in between like this episode and the next episode, they don't tell you this, but like the friend dies. And then this episode is like Dr. Cox interacting with his best friend the whole time. And they're like very strategic about who this person like interacts with. So you go through the whole episode thinking nothing's happened. And then at the very end, there's a moment where like the camera pans and he's not there. And like at that exact moment, Joshua Radin's Winter starts playing, which like I was very into at the time. And I was like, the JD is like, who are you talking to?
No.
And I like started
Steven, do
weeping.
not
I
do
was like,
this
they
to me
can
because
do
I know we're
this?
ancient, but you need to not bully Bria about this. We're old, okay?
Also, Scrubs is good.
Scrubs is good.
Pretty
say
good.
it.
Yeah.
Scrubs is good.
I cannot
Steven,
Zach
you
Braff
can
for
bully
one
me,
moment
it's
in my
fine.
life.
It's
I
one of the
haven't
better
watched Scrubs in a
sitcoms.
very long time, but I definitely enjoyed it at the time.
Hit me with
I
it.
cannot Zach Braff for even
I
a
appreciate
second
you
in my
sharing
life.
that, Bria. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was very
Thank you,
vulnerable
Steven.
with
That's
you.
very
You know what? I don't appreciate your attitude. Sometimes bad things can be good, okay?
Steven hates Scrubs, Belle. I get it. It's fine. Another version of Inside of Blaseball that we talked about jokingly was where we spend the entire time talking about medias, and Steven, a person who has worked in film and has multiple film degrees, is not allowed to speak and only has a soundboard that makes 4 sounds that he doesn't know and can only use those to respond to how he's feeling in the moment as we talk about movies in front of him. We should not do
Like
this,
that.
but it is very funny.
No, I like that a lot.
Pretty good.
I mean, I have a lot of moments in media that stick with me, but like the ones that stick with me the most are from when I was a kid, you know?
Yeah.
I have ones that are bad,
Scrubs.
that stuck with me in a bad way.
Mm.
When I say
Yeah.
kid, I mean like 6.
Oh. Okay, I was
I don't mean, like-
15.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, like when I was like a kid, you know.
There are so many Miyazaki ones though.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a
any
really good
Miyazaki
one.
movie,
The
honestly.
Princess
Oh.
Mononoke scene where like the forest god becomes
Mine
very
were,
big and spooky.
dude, I didn't even watch Princess Mononoke and I hated. I was so scared of Spirited Away as a kid. Mine, I was always obsessed with Kiki's Delivery Service
Mhm.
and Totoro, but also Nausicaa,
Mhm.
which scared me as a kid, but less than Spirited Away, so I watched it all the way through. Nausicaa, dude, that movie made me
That's one.
Incredible.
cry every
Incredible.
time
I think it's my
watched
best.
it.
I think it's my favorite.
It's one of the best ones,
It's-
and it's so
Like that and then
also
It's in like
one
my
of the coolest looking
four, I
ones.
think, 3 or 4 for me.
Yeah,
It's up there.
for
I
me.
love
Yeah, new
that.
question. Favorite
also-
Miyazaki film?
Castle in the Sky was the other one that I always
I
watched.
gotta go. So
This
I'm
is the
late.
last one. Answer it.
I'm
Mononoke and
late.
Totoro.
Great. Mononoke
Yeah.
and Spirited Away.
Kiki's Delivery Service
Kiki's.
and Castle in the Sky are Nausicaa. It's
Okay.
Kiki's Delivery Service and Nausicaa. Castle in the Sky is probably 3. I love Castle in the Sky.
Yeah.
I love that big robot.
Elena Felix has to go. We have to be quick.
Yeah.
I'm- yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Spirited Away is definitely one of the two. The second one is much harder, but probably Nausicaa of the Valley of the Winds. It's really good.
Yeah.
Possibly.
You can see my
What's the castle of
Howl's Moving
Castle in the
Castle?
House
No.
Moving Castle.
no, the Lupin the Third movie that
Oh.
that they did.
I don't
I think
remember
that
the
one
name
is
of it.
really, really funny.
I'm gonna sound like I'm being like a deep cut asshole right now, and I'm like, oh, I love Porco Rosso.
No, it's good. Porco Rosso's good.
It's incredible.
I love
It's incredible.
It's
planes.
so
Like I
good.
think that's part of it. Is I genuinely love like.
I remember
like,
crying the
planes.
first time I watched Porco
I
Rosso.
also love how much of a self-reflection it is. I think it's like really heavy in a good way and in a way that I relate to in a lot of ways where I look back on a past me and I'm like, wow, yeah, I was a real piece of shit.
They're all good.
And so I love Porco Rosso. So it's like really tough for me. It's like the most feminist one and then the most chauvinist one, maybe like Nausicaa and then Porco Rosso right next to each other. Ponyo's in there, but it's a very personal thing because I like
The movie's great. It's great.
yeah, I think Ponyo's beautiful, and I also think it's like the most the best storytelling of Little Mermaid type thing, but it's also like a trans analogy in a perfect way, right? Like he's like, I love you as a fish. I love you. You're my favorite person. There's literally no form of you that I do not love, and it's just so pure and beautiful, and like she didn't have to change for him, and it's
I think
great.
Ponyo's
right?
the first one I saw.
Little Mermaid.
Not to sound so pretentious. I think Ponyo's the first one I saw in English. We used to watch them only in the original. I mean, I watched like I watched like the original Castle in the Sky, like 1990 whatever dub, which was really bad. But like besides that, I think like most of the time we only watch them in the original.
They have good dubs. They get in like legit actors.
The old dub is like, it's not bad. It's just very noticeably old. So when you
I think
like
I've
watch
only
it,
seen that one. I should probably rewatch it.
it's like it's very like, oh, I'm watching like an old, like, you know, that you're like, this is a guy in a microphone. You can like hear the microphone.
Yeah.
You know, but like, yeah, Ponyo was the first one I saw in theaters, like when it came out, and in an English dub, and I was like, you know, it was very formative.
Someone in chat said about Quinn's background transportation, and I think that's a great note to end on. Thank you everyone for coming to Inside of Blaseball and for asking us questions and for goofing off with us. Keep your eyes on your emails if you applied for the PTR and sign those beautiful NDAs so you can click on all the things. Stay classy, stay hydrated, wear sunscreen. We love you. Goodbye.
Peace.